This is the base of the skull, which is divided into the anterior cranial fossa and the middle cranial fossa and the posterior cranial fossa. What's important for us is this is the lesser wing of the sphenoid bone, and this is the free border of lesser wing of the sphenoid bone. And this is the lesser wing of the sphenoid bone, which marks, this is the anterior cranial fossa, and this is the middle cranial fossa. This is the anterior clinoid process, and this is the anterior clinoid process. This is for the attachment of the tentorium cerebelli. And this is the optic foramen. It is important for us. Optic foramen, it transmits optic nerve and the ophthalmic artery. And the most important thing is the groove between the two optic foramina, this groove. This is a groove for the optic chiasma. This is the groove for the optic chiasma. Here is the pituitary fossa, or the sella turcica. In front is the tuberculum celli, and posteriorly is the dorsum celli. And on both sides is the cavernous sinus. On both sides of this body, I will find a groove. On both sides, I will find a groove. And this groove can be marked in the exam. This is a groove for the antenna carotid artery inside the sinus. Groove for the antenna carotid artery inside the sinus can be marked in the exam. Groove for the antenna carotid artery passing on the side of the pituitary fossa. But this groove is groove for the optic chiasma. But this groove on the side of the sella turcica is a groove for the antenna carotid artery inside the cavernous sinus. So I can mark the optic foramen, I can mark groove for the optic chiasma, I can mark the pituitary fossa or the sella turcica, I can mark groove for the internal carotid artery. Concerning the foramina in the middle cranial fossa, this is the superior orbital fissure which can be marked. This is the superior orbital fissure. It can be marked. This fissure. Superior between the lesser wing of the sphenoid and the greater wing of the sphenoid. This is the superior orbital fissure. And then this is the foramen rotundum for the transmission of the maxillary nerve. And behind it is the foramen ovale, wide and oval. It transmits mandibular nerve and all the motor roots of the trigeminal nerve, and also lesser petrosal nerve, and accessory meningeal artery, and emissary veins. Posterolateral to it is the foramen spinosum. And this foramen spinosum, we have two foramina here, which is not, this is the foramen spinosum. It transmits the nervus spinosus and the middle meningeal artery, which have these grooves. This is grooves for the branches of the middle meningeal artery. And this is the foramen lacerum, which transmit nothing. So, concerning our block, this is the optic foramen, transmit optic nerve and ophthalmic artery. This is a groove for the optic chiasma. It's related to the optic chiasma. And this is the pituitary fossa, is related to pituitary gland. And this is groove related to the internal carotid artery inside the cavernous sinus. And this is the superior orbital fissure. And this is the foramen rotundum for the maxillary nerve. And this is the foramen ovale for the trigeminal, for the mandibular nerve, for all motor roots of trigeminal nerve, for lesser petrosal nerve, for accessory meningeal artery, and for emissary veins. And this is the foramen spinosum for nervus spinosus and the middle meningeal artery. And this is grooves, this is impressions for branches of the middle meningeal vessels. And this is the foramen lacerum. Foramen lacerum. So these are the most important features of our block and concerning the base of the skull. شكراً.